In this video, we're going to look at how to transition from one level to another during gameplay. So if I press play and I walk into my door here, we will load another level. Then I have another one here that'll bring me back. So obviously we can use this if you are creating your exterior environment and your interior environment is linked to that somehow. You can have it so you can start from one and walk into the other. So how to set that up is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead through that. First thing I'll do, create a new blueprint class, create an actor, call this level transition demo. Open this up, bring it over here. And first thing we'll do is go ahead and add the various components we'll need. So first thing we'll add is a box collision. And then I'm just going to add a static mesh. And then make sure it's parented to the default scene root. And then I'm going to go over here to its properties and I'm going to click this drop down. I'm going to search for door frame. Looks like there's some default door frames in Unreal. I'm going to add that to my blueprint just for the sake of being able to see what's going on. So I have my door, I'll go back to my box collision, and I'm going to resize it to fit my door. So what's the goal here? The goal is to make it so when we interact or when we intersect this box to load a new level. So obviously you will also need another level created in your scene. So I'm in my first person map right now, and I created just another level called level 2. So those are like the prerequisites for this to work, is you need 2 levels and you need a blueprint with your collision box and whatever else you want to add to it for simplicity. So to get started, let's go to the event graph and go ahead and delete all this. I'm going to click on my box collision. I'm going to right click and go on component begin overlap. So this event will trigger whenever we overlap with the collision box. So off of this, we're going to drag out and grab a node called open level. We have a couple ways to grab it. We can either grab it by name or grab by object reference. If we grab by object reference, we'll see we have a drop down here that'll show all the different levels in our project. Then we can go find the one we want to transition to. I want to go to this level 2. I'm going to click that. We'll compile. We'll save. I'm going to go ahead to my blueprints. I'm going to take my demo, drag it into the scene. Now if I press play, see what happens. So now you can see we are able to go between the levels. So a couple things to note. Additionally, in your second level, you need to make sure you have a player start in the scene so that it knows where to put you when you load into the level. So now, that's it. It's this one simple node. Overlap the box, load the level. Now, if we want to add a simple transition, a fade out, we can do that by adding a couple nodes in between the overlap and the open level. It's pretty straightforward to set up. So between this, we want to grab a, start camera. Oh, actually first we need to right click in the scene and go get player camera manager. So let us access, the camera data, and then off the return value, we're gonna go start camera fade. And we'll plug this in and plug this in. So we have to set up a couple options. We want to say we want it to start from 0, which is no fade, and end at 1. Oh, not 10, just 1, which is max fade. And then we want this to transition over 2 seconds, let's say. I thought it was a good number. So if we play this as is, it will not really work. That's because it's going to start the camera fade, and then by the time this is done, we're going to already be in the level, so we won't actually see it play. So to get this to work, we just got to add one more thing in between. We're going to add a delay. So a delay, as you expect, set a duration, and then it'll pause right here for our duration. We set for 2 seconds, and then it'll carry on to the open level. So now, when we overlap, it's going to fade for 2 seconds, and while that's happening, we're delayed for 2 seconds, and then we'll open our level. So let's compile, let's save, let's play. Now when we walk through here, we're going to get a camera fade. Now we notice when we hop into the new level, it doesn't fade back in. And if we set up, you might think at first that we can add after this a fade in, after we open the level, fade in, so it'll fade in, but it'll be fading in on this current level, but we'll be on a new one. So we actually have to set that up within the new level. But if you just want a simple transition, all you need are these two nodes right here. Connect them together, set up your second level, have a player start in the new level, and you'll just overlap and hop in. So let's look at quick how to finish off the transition. So this is set up, ready to go. And now we have to go to our second level. So I'm going to go to my maps. I'm going to open my level 2, just save everything. And for this, we're actually going to build this little bit of code within the level blueprints. So each level has its own little blueprints. So we can go up here to the top, go to open level blueprints, and you can see we have the level blueprints here. And I actually already have it set up, but we can go ahead and talk through what it's doing. So we want to make it so when we load into this level, we have a fade in. So the event trigger we use is on event begin play. So when we begin playing this level, when it loads in, run this. So first thing I do is we have that same get player camera manager that we had before, and then we grab a set manual camera fade, set the fade amount to 1. That way when we enter, we're already faded out, so it's at black. Then we're going to delay for a second, so it sits on black for a second, and then we run another camera fade and move it from 1, which is black, to 0, which is fully unfaded, over 2 seconds. So if we compile this, save it, see what we get. So I'm going to go back to my first person map, go to my little door right here, I'm going to press play. So now it should fade out for 2 seconds, load the new map, and then fade in. So that's, simple level transitions. So now if I want to make a new level, like a duplicate of this blueprint to bring me back to this level, all you have to do is take your blueprint, duplicate it, then just open it up and change your open level. Just switch the level back to your first one. That way it'll do the same thing, but it'll just load you back to the one you started, and then you can kind of have a loop of going back and forth. So that's simple level transitions.